Hey, I'm going to Sweden. Me, Commonwealth Realm and Zeltec are going to the Nordic Switch event at Kungsbacka, Sweden this Saturday, so come meet with us! After many years, we finally got what we wanted. A brand new Zelda game that will change the franchise forever. But there's one thing that's a bit weird about Breath of the Wild. The Great Plateau. It's higher up in the air than everything else. But why? Well, today we will find an answer for this, so let's dive straight into it. So we shall start off by taking a quick look at the background story of the Great Plateau, since it could provide us with some clues. It's a large region of land that is secluded from other parts of Hyrule, as its steep slopes prevent anyone from traveling to and from it without special equipment, such as the paraglider. The only active inhabitant is the Old Man, a mysterious elderly fellow with a deep knowledge of the sheikah. According to the Old Man, the Great Plateau is the location where the Kingdom of Hyrule was founded. Now, like the Old Man said, this is the birthplace of the Kingdom of Hyrule. We can completely confirm this since we can see traces of a city and even the Temple of Time. But why? Nobody has ever said anything like that about Hyrule. Why is it so special this time? Well, for this we will have to look at the source of all destruction in this game. 100 years prior to Link's awakening from a deep sleep, the calamity Ganon rose up and laid waste to Hyrule. Unable to be defeated, it was sealed within Hyrule Castle, while the ruined kingdom was ravaged by nature over time. The Calamity Ganon continued to grow in power while trapped, waiting to break free to destroy the world completely. Could he be the reason that the Great Plateau is higher up? Was this to protect the humans who lived there? It would make it more difficult for Ganon to kill all the Hylians. Could this be the reason? Well, in some Zelda games, we did see the gods influence the world in order to defend the people of Hyrule. We see this in Skyward Sword, for example, when the Demon King Demise attacked to get the Triforce for himself. In order to prevent the Great Power from falling into the hands of Demise, Her Grace gathered the surviving humans on an outcrop of Earth with the Triforce and sent them skyward. Beyond the reaches of evil forces wreaking havoc upon the surface world, and beyond even the clouds. Skyloft remained there for generations. Knowledge of the surface and the origins of Skyloft became nothing more than a mere legend. So here we see that the goddess Hylia sent the people to the sky in order to defend them and the Triforce. But this isn't the only instance where something like this happened, since something similar also happened later on in the timeline. Many generations after the Hero of Time left, the seal of the 7 sages that kept Ganon imprisoned began to weaken for unknown reasons, and he managed to escape. As the darkness was covering the land, the people of Hyrule prayed that the Hero of Time would once again come to save them, but the hero did not appear. Left with no other choice, the people pleaded to the 3 golden goddesses, the creators of Hyrule. And so the gods decided to flood the land in order to save the people. So yet another example of the gods changing the land in order to save lives. So could it be that they did the same with the Great Plateau? Is this the reason for it being higher up than everything else? Well, it would make sense since the gods have done something like this before, and it would explain why it's a sacred place that needs to be protected. And the broken down buildings and Temple of Time show that this place would have been an important area. So it would make sense to defend this place from evil like Ganon. Another clue for this is seen at the beginning of the game when Link wakes up in the shrine. A mysterious voice guides him to discover what has become of the ruined kingdom of Hyrule. So this is a similar scenario to the Wind Waker, where there was no hero, but here Link was defeated. And since there was no hero to help out after Calamity Ganon won and took over the Guardians and Divine Beast, it could be that they sought aid from the gods, and this could have ended up being the Great Plateau, a safe area higher up in the air. But which god could have done this? Hylia or the Golden Goddesses? Well, there are 2 clues pointing towards Hylia, the first one being in the Temple of Time. With the decay of the Kingdom of Hyrule, it has fallen into disrepair, but it was once used frequently for sacred rites. Inside is a statue of the goddess Hylia, which Link can pray to in order to receive her blessing. So they frequently prayed to Hylia and even performed sacred rites. So it would make sense that if they needed help, they would ask her. And there's also a second clue. Hylia sent a piece of Hyrule skyward, so maybe she did something similar, but this time she just raised it up a little. This would make sense since she has done it before and it worked that time. So maybe she did it again in this scenario. So did Zelda unlock her divine powers and use them to lift up the Great Plateau? Well, we did see that she has strong powers in the trailer. Could it be that the power of Hylia is sealed within her and that she can learn to use it? This might have happened in Breath of the Wild. Or maybe she used the power of the Triforce of Wisdom for this. But there's also a third option on how the Great Plateau came to be, and this also involves Skyloft. Could it be that the Great Plateau is the remains of Skyloft that crashed into the ground? We have seen this before, but this was because of the Triforce. But maybe it could happen again for other reasons. And after all, this is where the generation that started the Kingdom of Hyrule was born. So that's essentially the birthplace. It would also explain why we see the statue of Hylia in the Temple of Time, since we have never seen it in any of the previous versions. Not in Ocarina of Time, and the same goes for Twilight Princess. But this kind of depends on the timeline placement of the game, and the entire wall around it is also a problem. So this one is the least likely. Now I have one more option, but there isn't any really solid evidence for it. Maybe this piece of Hyrule is higher up because of Link. Maybe this happened to create a safe place for the hero to recover from his wounds so that he could return. And this is also the reason why they don't want any monsters there. But like I said, besides this, there's literally nothing going for it. So as you can see, there are many answers to this question, some of which are more likely than others. But for now, we will have to wait and see what the truth is. Only a little more than a month to go. Don't forget about the Nordic Switch event at Kungsbacka in Sweden this Saturday. I'll be there together with Commonwealth Realm and Zeltec, and you can meet up with us. Yay! Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to watch more, click the annotations on the screen right now. If you hated this video, give it a dislike. If you loved it, give it a like. I mean, your opinion. And give me a comment. Yay.